The thing I love most about watercolor is probably the most difficult medium of painting, but it's very you're at the mercy of the water and the paint and the paper. So it's the water flows and the paint flows and what you put down on the paper at that minute, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, when the paint runs and dries and that, you can end up with some pretty abstract or pretty interesting finishes in your painting. I'm William Robertson, and I live here in Orangeville with my family. I love water painting and a little bit of oil painting. I started painting a long time ago when I was very young. I was fortunate enough to actually be introduced to it by my parents. My mother was actually a very talented oil painter, and my dad was very talented with drawing and sketching. He did pencil and charcoal and that. So from a very young age, I was introduced to all kinds of arts and crafts and things like that. So I've been painting for pretty much most of my life. And I did kind of step away from it as I got a little bit older, but I got back into it probably the last 6 or 7 years, and I just love it. My passion and my drive to create is probably not so much just in painting and drawing and art, but it's everything I try to do in my life. Is to be creative, whether it's at work or at home. When you can be creative, you can kind of change things up and make things interesting and things like that. Even though I do painting and painting now with oil color and mainly watercolor, growing up as a kid, I was introduced to a lot of different arts and crafts. When I was in grade 3, our school our school district chose 2 students from each school in that area to actually go to an art program. So it was a 6-week program, and we went, I think it was once a week for 6 weeks, and we went for half a day, and we would do all kinds of different things. We did painting, drawing, charcoal, clay, pottery. We dyed fabric. We did all kinds of things. So just to be able to be creative and get into different areas of art and creativity is great for everybody. Probably my favorite piece that I've done is the one that I did with my daughter. We took a day on a Friday and went and had breakfast, and then went out driving around Caledon and got some great pictures of some farms and stuff in the fall. And we ended up finding one that we loved, and we each did the same painting of it, and had it framed and gave it to my mom for her birthday. And my mom had it up for the many years that she was around, and she just loved it. So that's probably the most special piece to me. I believe that art in Dufferin-Caledon and this area is very popular. I think just to the demographic of the people in this area. There are a lot of people a lot of artists that really love this area. It's a picturesque area to live. You can get some great inspiration, in the Caledon, driving through Caledon and seeing all the hills and the farms and Dufferin and Orangeville, and it's a very scenic area, and you can get a lot of inspiration from that. So I think it probably has more to do with the people that have moved here because they love the scenery, love beauty, and that kind of goes hand in hand with artists and people that are creative and stuff like that. Watercolor you do in layers, so you kind of do a first wash, and then kind of let it dry, and then you add your you start with lighter colors and work your way up kind of to the darker colors. Being creative is very important in life. Whether it's with your home life or your work life or any of your activities or hobbies, creativity just helps generate new interest and things like that. Sometimes you feel like you might be getting stagnant, in one thing or another, and if you can find a way to be creative and it helps make things more interesting and keeps you more involved and interested in certain areas of your life. Well, I have posted some paintings on my Facebook page, as well as on Marketplace. I do have a website if somebody is interested in seeing, or an email address. If somebody is interested in reaching out to contact me, it's will.robertson@hotmail.com, and that's 1LWIL.robertson@hotmail.com.